It's rare that you can take a motorcycle and do this type of extreme break-in period, but we were lucky enough to do it in the summer of 2018, riding it across the United States, 4,500 plus miles, 115, 116 degrees Fahrenheit outside throughout the middle of summer, riding across the desert, and we're going to finally see, and I'm going to show you exactly what that does to the motor. All right, if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe, hit the notifications for the bell. Every time I go live once a week, we start working on this. We take snippets of that live stream and build it into the episode, which you're about to see. Also, members, if you're a member on YouTube, you get to rewatch the live stream, so if you want to become a member, click that join button down below. Then you can head over to the community tab, and then you'll see all the previous live streams if you want to watch them instead of just watching this edited version. All right, guys, sit back, enjoy. We're going to find out exactly what happens to the Honda Grom motor after you put it through an extreme break-in. All right, what is up, YouTube? Welcome to episode 1.5 of Stock to Not Season 2 live stream. I have yet to look at this. Inside here is a lot of good information as far as your maintenance schedule. This is what we're going to be talking about today and kind of reviewing. There's a break-in period. That's going to be this column right here. So this little bar right here is for replace, and over here on the left, if you guys can see, it says engine oil. So that's at the 600-mile break-in period. We did that oil change in Las Vegas. It was half full. I did the math here because I know we got some people overseas, but Honda Grom calls for 1 quart of oil, 32 ounces.
Bama Gromer donated $1 through Super Chat. Gonna do compression test before you dig in.
No, appreciate it, man. No, I'm not going to do any compression tests. I don't know how to do that, so no. If you guys are mechanics and you guys know a lot about motors and compression tests, good on you. I'm not that guy. I've rebuilt the Honda Grom motor a couple times. As far as like all that technical stuff, I go by this little guy here, which is the service manual. If you open it up, you got literally pictures and directions how to kind of accomplish something. But no, we're not going to do any compression test. Like I was saying, it calls for 1 quart of oil. When we drained the oil in Vegas, which was right around 600 to 800 miles, we had about half that. So we had about half a quart, or 470 milliliters, versus the 946 that the spec calls out. That mixed with the high temperature of the desert and then me being full throttle. So with Honda Groms, they have 9 horsepower. If you weigh more or less, that depends how quick you can get up to speed and how fast you can go. So Wally was on the trip with me. Wally weighs about $130 wet. I'm a little bit more than that. I was full throttle, so wide open throttle the entire 4,500 plus miles across the desert and everywhere else, just trying to keep up with them. So when we take this motor apart, it's going to be interesting to see how those factors either did or did not mess up the piston. So what we're looking at right here. So I think we're going to be somewhere between a brand new one and this destroyed one, which was from my stunt Groms. We're going to drain the oil out. We're going to crank open the side case. We're going to look at the spinner. It's going to be interesting to see what that spinner looks like inside of it, and then also that screen, which is acting as the oil filter. And then we're going to break open the top end of it, remove the head, the jug, and the piston, take a look at it as far as any damage. So fingers crossed, I think there will be some. So this bike has not been turned on since we got back. The oil is about a year plus old. In addition to what we find inside the side case with the oil spinner, we're also going to be looking at the air filter. We didn't touch that at all. If the engine is cold, idle the engine for 3 to 5 minutes. So we're going to do that now. I think that's been about 5 minutes. I'm going to turn this off. We're going to let that cool down for a couple minutes. I'm going to grab my oil jug and all that stuff. I'm just going to use a painter's bucket here to measure how much oil we get out of it. I'm kind of curious. If I was just changing the oil, instead of taking the exhaust off, I can just put tin foil over it. That way it doesn't get on the exhaust and burn up. Pretty simple to do an oil change here, but they do sell that aftermarket Kitako cover. So again, the issue with the stock cover is you don't have a sight glass and you don't have a filter. So to do an oil change properly, you're supposed to take the whole side cover off, replace the gasket, which you don't really need to do, and then clean out the screen and the spinner. And a lot of people ask me why I run stock exhaust. If you run aftermarket, if you're trying to learn wheelies, or if you're just trying to do wheelies, you get high in those RPMs, it can really scream. Depending on where you live, if you're in a rural area, it might be okay, but where we live, the Tampa Bay area, it's very condensed. It doesn't take much for people to hear that, call the cops, shut down lots. That's the reason why I run stock exhaust. Now we're gonna drain the oil. In fact, before we do that, let's just check the oil level. Clean it off. We got the fill line. We wanna be right in the middle of that guy. And so you get it level, have it fit in right there, pushing down but not screwing in. Better than when we did our first oil change. We did the same thing. It's definitely on the low end, but when we did the first oil change, we had none of that showing up on the dipstick. And as you guys can see, it's pretty black coming out. All right, let's see what we got. So that line right there is 1 quart. That's where we're supposed to be, 32 ounces. We were down here in Vegas. If you guys have been here since last season, you guys know about the DeWalt, the Ugga Dugga. If you guys are working on your bike and you don't have one of these like DeWalts, such a good investment. Makes everything a lot faster. All right, last bolt here. There's a lot of videos where people take these off, they bang it with hammers and stuff. I found that if you just press this release arm up here, it'll just crack the seal and you'll keep the gasket. Moment of truth, guys. Let's see what the screen looks like and the inside on this 4,500 plus mile on the Grom. Okay, what we got? That's not bad. Oh, until I turn it over. It's a booger on it on this side. I don't know what that is. That looks like, that might be fibers, clutch fibers. I was expecting like a bolt to be stuck to it. Clean this guy off. Oil screen's supposed to look like. See right through it. Not too many shavings, but we do have some fibers there, some clutch fibers. This is a good telltale sign that the piston might be in pretty good shape. Everything looks good. So what we're looking at here is the clutch side. So we have the clutch basket here. This is the clutch basket here. Inside there are the friction plates and the steels. We have the pressure plate, the clutch pressure plate. We have clutch springs behind that pressure plate. So that release arm that right here the clutch cable was pushing into, once you pull in the clutch, it presses against this, engages and disengages the clutch, so it opens and closes, creates that friction. This is the oil spinner, spins around, kicks up all the oil, and then the oil screen was right here. This is the oil pump, the stock OEM oil pump. There's gears here. If you try cranking this, it's gonna spin. But if we use the Ugga Dugga, torque should just take these bolts off. Go. There will be links to all these tools that I use down below if you guys want to pick them up, including, very important, metal trays to hold all your bolts so they don't go run away on you. All right, second moment of truth. Open this guy up. Get some more oil in there. Let that drain out. And we'll just clean out the excess oil. And there's going to be a bunch of, there's a bunch of, I don't know if you guys can see it right there. You see that layer folding over right there? I'm touching it. That's all built up shavings and gunk and crap and stuff. So I'm gonna grab another couple wipes. Some goodness.
Wicked_VFR donated $2 through Super Chat.
What's up,
Damn
Michael?
that beard. I wanna swim in it.
What's up, homie? Appreciate the super chat, man. The beard's looking good. No shave November. That's all gunky metal shavings, clutch fibers. If you're doing your maintenance, it calls for replacing the oil and also taking the cover off and doing what I'm doing right here, which is just clean this off. And of course, if you do it more often, like I said, there's 4,500 plus miles on this guy, and this is the first time we've done this, you won't have such a buildup.
Red Aura Rider donated $2 through Super Chat.
What's up, Hector?
You broke it.
All right, enough of that. That is pretty clean, but that's basically all you need to do when you're doing your oil change. But using that method of pushing off with the release arm, you can see we saved the gasket. Definitely recommend using that instead of just like a rubber mallet. Let's go ahead and just, I mean, I've done this a few times, but it's been a while, so it doesn't hurt to go through the service manual. All we're gonna do is get it at top dead center, and then we can start disassembling everything. As you guys can see, if you guys don't have this yet, look on eBay. That's where I purchased mine, but if you plan on working on your bike, definitely good to have. But we're gonna put it at top dead center. We're gonna move the inspection glass cover there, and then the crank, we gotta crank it counterclockwise. So rotate the crankshaft counterclockwise until the T mark on the flywheel is aligned with the index notch on the left crankcase cover. So you got the T right here. So we're gonna rotate this around until that T is lined up with that little notch right there. It's gonna be hard to see on the bike, so I'm just showing you guys right here. All this slides off, the jug slides off, and then the cylinder will be on.
Anthony Kosilova donated $2 through Super Chat. Tampa 125 here. Do you wipe from front or back?
125. Tampa 125. Now you gotta do another super chat. You gotta type in 125 if you wanna be 125, all right? Appreciate the $2. Throw another $2 and get it right next time. So we're gonna remove the sprocket, the chain, everything's gonna slide off, and then we are gonna start moving on to the piston. If it looks anything like this, we're in trouble. Hopefully it looks more like this. This is a good side, not so good side. But we're gonna take a look at that and go from there. We're gonna do the air box, change of plans. For the air box, I'm not sure if we're gonna be putting a stock air box back on or put something like a Chimera. Okay, so it sits right there. goes into this.
J Bars donated $2 through Super Chat. Say my name, Tampa125.
You got it right, Tampa125. What's up, man? Appreciate Super Chat. What are you guys drinking and watching? We have a sensor back here, which I'm gonna remove. There's a sensor right there. Everything should just pop off. It's just a little bracket here with a washer where it sits in. So everything kind of should pop off here. Okay. And we just have a hose right here for the breather tube. All right, she's off. All right, let's take a look at this guy. A lot of people, including myself, if you keep the stock air box, you can drill holes in this so you have like a ram air, and then you can flip this snorkel around like this, cut a hole in your fairing so it'll sit like that, the front of the bike's this way, and it'll be like a ram air. All right, you guys ready? 4,522 miles cross country. Damn, man, everything's a letdown. I'm expecting this thing to be completely covered like a cactus or lizards living in here. She does not look that bad.
Anthony Kosilova donated $2 through Super Chat. Photobomber125 needs to know hot dogs or corn dogs.
All right, looking at the air filter after 4,500 miles, not that bad. So back, front, inside, doesn't look that bad. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed. So talking about the airbox mod, what you can do is remove this snorkel right here. So you'll end up cutting this right here, and then you're gonna have all this tube, which when the air comes in has to find its way into that little tube. You remove all that, and then you just have it forced in through, it just breathes more because you're gonna have a lot more space for the air to get through. It doesn't have to go through this little snorkel. And then you turn this guy around so you have more of a ram air. And then again, if you drill holes in the front, not good for the rain, but if you drill holes in the front, more air gets in there. And then the final thing you can do is remove this screen and that cheese grate in the back, and then you'll have a little bit more flow. But they do make a K&N insert, looks just like this with a K&N. Doesn't have anything on the back, so if you want to get a K&N air filter. So another cool thing to get are these hex sockets. So I got like a whole kit. I would recommend if you're gonna get an Ugga Dugga, pick one of these guys up.
Anthony Kosilova donated $2 through Super Chat. Deepest apologies from Tampa125 Sexy Man.
Thanks, bud. Your deepest apology, deeply accepted. Woo! Don't strip this guy. They're hard to come by. Nobody has extras of these. Same thing, don't strip these guys. Make sure they seat all the way. It's gonna be our inspection window right there. That's where we want to get the T to match up to the notch, which you'll see in there in a second. What we're going to do is counterclockwise turn this, so we're going to turn this way. Got our caps. I could have sworn this is supposed to be, oh yeah. Oh.
Sean Hooligan donated $1 through Super Chat. Just unbolt the intake manifold from the jug.
What's up, Sean?
Howard Solis donated $1 through Super Chat. Best upgrade for stock Grom cam and EQ. So
there is a washer. Pay attention, there is a washer right here. So make sure you pull that guy off and keep it with your covers. So Sean said just take the throttle body off. So if you take these bolts off, all these cables and sensors and hoodickies stay with it. So it's this bolt, these two bolts, and that's it. Or if I take it off with the jug, then I have to disconnect this guy, this guy, this guy, and the cables. I like his idea better. I'm gonna go with that, Sean. So we're just gonna take it off and leave it all together, and then when we put it back on, we won't have to put the wires back in. Once we get all this stuff off, I'm gonna start labeling it.
Red Aura Rider donated $2 through Super Chat.
Here's Hector.
Yo, I am outside your house. Help me hide the body.
Are you really here? Hector might be here. He said he's gonna stop by, but I hope he doesn't have a body. I don't have time for that. All right, we got Hector here. Here, poke your head through this little hole right here.
Hi, guys.
And yeah, now we're gonna do the top dead center and then pull this guy off.
J Bars donated $2 through Super Chat. Can Tampa125 come over next time? We got Henny.
Well, maybe. We'll put it, we'll put tentative. We'll put a maybe. I kind of like you guys in the Super Chat, in the live chat, versus I don't know if I'd be able to get anything done in real life.
Anthony Kosilova donated $2 through Super Chat. Jay, we on the way. Hector, open the garage.
Hector, don't touch the button. All right, so you can remove that sensor if you got to take the whole sensor out to replace the jug.
J-Bars donated $2 through Super Chat. Send the live location and lol simple episode. Anthony Kosilova donated $2 through Super Chat. Fight one bang one Denzel Matthew McConaughey.
All we have to do, these 4 bolts here, we're going to take off. We have 2 bolts on this side that are going to hold the jug onto the engine block itself. But right now, all we got to do is take these guys off, and the head should slide off. Grip on this guy.
Aaron Brown says, hope you don't forget the cam chain.
Oh shit.
Yo, you gave the clutch.
All right, one thing that we didn't do, thank you, who said that? Thank you, Brandon. One of my patrons looking out. Before we go any further, we got to remove the cam chain cover here. And there is an aftermarket one you can get that's clear. Kind of cool. All right, so I'm just gonna separate this guy. There's a O-ring in here, just pay attention to that little guy. So now that we got the cam cover off, we got our chain tensioner sprocket right there, and then we got a little guide bolt there. So the O needs to be lined up with that. Where's that 17? Let me grab that 17.
Wicked _ VFR donated $2 through Super Chat. Feel free to fly me out for help. I need a vacation.
Keep sending super chats. I'll get you that ticket. You're almost there. We can almost get you on a Legionnaire. It's like $42 a round trip ticket. All right. One thing that I forgot to show. Thanks, live chat. When you go about spinning this guy, looking in here, you also need to take this cover off. So besides lining the T up with the notch there, you also need to make sure that the O is lined up there. You have an F on there as well. So you just keep spinning until the T's lined up, which it is right now, and the O's lined up. Now we're top dead center. Now we're ready to remove the cam sprocket and the chain and the bush in there, and then remove the jug. Boop. Okay. So then when we go to put it back on, we're just gonna line the O up with the notch there, and we'll know we'll be at top dead center, and then that will be a T as well in case that gets moved around. So here's the sprocket, cam chain tensioner, all the tensioners in there, but the cam chain, cam right there. Get these washers off. I got replacement washers for all this stuff, so I think these are not reusable. All right, there we go. All right, we're gonna pull the head off now. Just slides off. If you don't have the fender off, that's where you're gonna hit your front tire or fender. Before I forget, I'm gonna take that little bushing out. So, little guy right here. It's just a little guide that sits in there. Goes with that bolt, so I like to keep those together. Moment of truth, so we got right here, I'm gonna bring the camera on. This is our cylinder or jug inside here. Piston right here. So we're just gonna slide this off. The crank arm is gonna come down. We got a couple of bushings here. Make sure they come with it. You can take those off and reuse them. When you do this, you just gotta hold your fingers and hand behind it. When it slides off, you're going to, the crank will drop down. All right, moment true. So 4,500 plus miles through the desert, 110 degrees, full throttle, break-in period. Do you have to break it in soft, or do you break it in like you ride it like you're gonna ride it through the break-in period? We're gonna pull off the jug now and look at the piston and see if there's any damage to it. All right, so right off the bat, you're gonna see some carbon up here build up, which is normal. But the rings, the grooves right here is what I'm paying attention to. This side looks good. The bottom looks good. So let's get a better shot for you guys. But she's looking pretty mint. We might not even have to replace this guy. Underneath, you can see all the rings as well. It's looking pretty good. She's looking mint. So 4,522 miles. Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Let's take the jug. We got the jug here. Take a look at that guy. So here's the jug. There's a little bit of scorching I can see. Okay, there we go. Okay, see the little scorching there on the top part? That's, I mean, nothing major. So you see those up and down lines right there? Lines right here. So instead of the weave, you're seeing a little scorching, the up and down. That's where the piston's riding against the jug interior. I don't know, it still looks pretty good. So let's take a look at this real quick. I'm gonna do instead of trying to show you guys, I'm just gonna look to see if there's any scorch marks on the sidewall. And it looks good to me. Yeah, she's looking pretty strong. I'm gonna go ahead and say we're not gonna replace the piston because it's not gonna be required. I might change my mind or next week when we go live. I might want to do it just to show you guys. I would say it's still pretty good. So let's recap what we did tonight. First off, thanks everyone that tuned in. I appreciate everyone that helped during the live stream, that reminded me to do a couple steps that I've kind of got ahead of myself. So I appreciate everyone that tuned in the live chat. If you're watching this after the fact, if you guys want to tune into the live chat, look down below. The pinned comment will be the next live stream. And if you turn notifications on, you'll be notified every time I go live.
J-Bars donated $2 through Super Chat. What size half helmet you want?
Appreciate it, Jay. So I think I'm gonna save this. I was originally gonna talk about this tonight. It's the pickup mod, but I was fully expecting there to be some sort of damage on the piston itself. I was expecting more of this than this. So I was gonna talk more about how we chased out the wheelies and that type of stuff. As far as the stunts, I'm still going to talk about that, but we're going to be working on the Grom a little bit more in depth next week. Next week when we go live, we're going to be talking about replacing the clutch, different clutch springs, clutch basket, clutch fibers and steels, also the oil pump specifically for the stunt application. I originally was going to talk more about this tonight, but I'm gonna save this for next week. So I have a whole bunch of printouts here, which I planned on sharing with you tonight, but I'm gonna wait till, again, next week because it's pretty in-depth, a lot of detail. The skinny of it is you need a good pickup oil pump if you're gonna be stunting the bike, so you don't do damage to your piston like you saw on this guy here. It looks like I didn't do too good of wheelies. I didn't chase them out as long as I thought I would to cause any damage to the piston, and the heat and the mileage and the full throttle didn't do as much damage or any damage than what I thought it was going to do to the Grom. So that's good news. So shout out to Honda for making a reliable little 125cc motor. All right, thanks again for watching. We'll be back next week.